Don't scroll. Listen to this slowly. This message is for you, yes, you, right here, right now, on this Thursday morning. If you felt a quiet pull in your spirit when you saw this, that wasn't random. Your heart needed this moment, and heaven knew exactly where to find you. Take a deep breath. Before the noise of the day begins, before responsibilities start calling your name, I need you to hear this clearly. You and your family are not forgotten. You are being watched over in ways you cannot see yet. This morning, the Lord is speaking softly but firmly, saying, I am placing my hand over your family today. Not later. Not someday. But right now, in this very moment. Even the prayers you whispered under your breath last night. Even the worries you carried silently so no one else would feel the weight. God saw them all. Nothing escaped His attention. There has been something heavy resting on your heart lately. A concern about someone you love. A sense that you've been holding everything together by faith alone. You've been strong for everyone else, but inside you've been asking, Lord, are you really here with us? Listen to this. This is your confirmation. This Thursday is not just another day on the calendar. It is a divine checkpoint. A moment where the universe pauses just long enough to remind you that protection is active around your home. If you've been waking up tired even after sleeping, if your mind has been racing with what ifs about your family's future, that's not weakness, that's spiritual sensitivity. You are picking up on a shift that's already happening. The Lord says, where you cannot be, I already am. There are doors you worried about closing, but heaven locked them for your safety. There are paths your family did not take, and now you understand why. Some things didn't work out because they were never meant to touch your household. Right now, angels are being assigned. Not metaphorically, spiritually. They are standing guard over bedrooms, over doorways, over late-night drives, over quiet tears. And if you've been seeing numbers lately, 11:11 when you glance at the clock, 2:22 when you're thinking about your loved ones, 444 during moments of fear, those are not coincidences. Those are signals. They are reminders that you are not walking alone, and neither is your family. There has been a battle you didn't talk about. A tension you felt but couldn't explain. But awakening always comes before peace settles in. Someone connected to you, deeply connected, is also going through a shift. A soulmate energy. A divine connection. It could be a partner, a spouse, or someone tied to your destiny. There has been distance. Silence. Confusion. Moments where you wondered if the connection was fading. Listen to this part carefully. It was never rejection. It was recalibration. The universe has been working behind the scenes, realigning hearts, correcting timing, healing wounds that couldn't be healed before. What felt like separation was actually preparation. God is not removing people from your life. He is restoring them in the right condition. This morning, the Lord is asking you to release control. Not because things will fall apart, but because they are finally coming together. You don't have to carry every burden. You don't have to fix everything. You don't have to have all the answers today. The message for this Thursday morning is simple but powerful. Rest. I am covering what concerns you most. Your family's future is not fragile. It is protected. It is guided. It is surrounded. What was delayed wasn't denied. It was being aligned. There is a shift beginning, quietly, gently, where peace will start to outweigh anxiety, where trust will grow stronger than fear, where you will notice small signs that something has changed. And this prayer is already rising for you. Lord, place your hand over my family today. Cover their minds with clarity. Cover their hearts with peace. Cover their paths with light. Where I cannot reach, you reach first. As you hear these words, something is settling in your spirit. That's not imagination, that's reassurance. But listen, there is more unfolding. There is a deeper layer to this message, something specific meant just for you, something that explains why this week feels different, why this morning feels heavier yet calmer at the same time, why your soul feels like it's standing at the edge of a revelation. And that is where this part pauses. Because what you're sensing right now is not confusion. It's anticipation. Something has been shifting beneath the surface of your life, quietly, patiently, even while you were distracted with daily responsibilities. You may not have had the language for it, but your spirit recognized it first. That subtle feeling, like something is about to change, but you don't know how or when, that's divine timing lining itself up. Listen closely. This message didn't come to scare you. It came to steady you. The Lord is saying, "You've been asking for clarity, but I had been preparing you for peace." There are answers that would have overwhelmed you if they came too early. There are truths that required maturity, healing, and trust before they could be revealed. That's why things unfolded slowly. That's why not everything made sense at once. You've been walking by faith more than you realize. This morning, God is placing a spiritual seal over your household. A covering that doesn't just protect from harm, but filters what's allowed to stay. That's why certain conversations faded. That's why certain influences quietly exited your life. That's why some doors closed without explanation. It wasn't loss. It was protection disguised as disappointment. And yes, there were moments you questioned yourself. Moments you wondered if you were being too sensitive, too emotional, too hopeful. But the Lord says, you were discerning. You were listening. There is a heightened sensitivity around you right now because your spiritual awareness is increasing. You're noticing things you didn't notice before. Energy, intentions, silence, tone, timing. This awakening is not just for you, it's for your family line. What you are breaking right now, cycles of fear, instability, emotional distance. Your children, your loved ones, even generations after you will benefit from. This Thursday morning marks a turning point where generational stress begins to loosen its grip. Someone in your family has been carrying something they haven't spoken about. They tried to be strong. They tried to manage alone. The Lord says, I see them, and I'm reaching them in ways you cannot. You don't need to force conversations. You don't need to push healing. God is already working in the quiet spaces. If you've been feeling a nudge to pray differently lately, slower, deeper, more intentional, that's because heaven is listening closely right now. And here's something you need to hear clearly. Your prayers are landing. Not one of them is wasted. Not one of them is delayed beyond purpose. Some prayers take root underground before you ever see the fruit. This is especially true for the prayer you've been whispering about love. There is a soulmate-level connection tied to your destiny. Whether they are already in your life, temporarily distant, or yet to fully step in, this bond is being protected. The separation you felt was never meant to destroy the connection. It was meant to refine it. The universe has been removing confusion, ego, fear, and old wounds from both sides. That's why things felt slow. That's why communication may have felt blocked. But listen, silence does not mean absence. Sometimes it means transformation. If you've been seeing signs related to love, repeating names, songs appearing at the right moment, dreams that feel too real, those are not random thoughts. They are spiritual echoes. This connection is being aligned with purpose, not impulse. With depth, not illusion. And God is saying, I will not bring them back to you the same way they left. There is maturity forming, healing happening, a readiness that could not be rushed. Right now, the most important thing you can do is trust the process without forcing the outcome. This Thursday carries a frequency of surrender. Not giving up, but letting go of fear. Fear has been the loudest voice lately. Fear of loss. Fear of timing. Fear of repeating the past. But today, peace is stepping in quietly, asking for permission to stay. You may feel emotional for no clear reason. Tears close to the surface. A lump in your throat when you least expect it. That's not weakness. That's release. Your soul is letting go of something it's held onto for too long. The Lord is saying, you don't have to survive anymore. You can live. This protection over your family isn't just about safety. It's about stability. It's about joy returning to ordinary moments. Laughter where tension once lived. You will notice small changes first. A calmer conversation. A resolved misunderstanding. A sense of relief without explanation. Those are signs. And yes, more signs are coming. Angel numbers will continue to show up until you fully trust the message they carry. 1111, alignment. 222, reassurance. 444, protection. Each one is heaven's way of saying, you're on the right path. There is also something specific unfolding before the end of this week. Not dramatic, not loud, but deeply meaningful. It may come through a message, a realization, a sudden sense of peace where anxiety used to sit. Don't dismiss it. This is how God confirms His presence, quietly, personally, unmistakably. Right now, let this prayer settle into you. Lord, thank you for going ahead of my family today. Thank you for blocking what I couldn't see. Thank you for healing what I couldn't fix. Teach me to trust you even when I don't have the full picture. As you breathe, something is aligning. You may not understand it yet, but you will. Because this message is still unfolding. There is another layer, one that explains why this moment matters so much, why your spirit was drawn here at this exact time, and what is about to be revealed next. Because the reason your spirit was drawn here at this exact moment goes deeper than comfort. It goes into purpose. There is a calling resting on your life that you've been slowly waking up to. Not a loud calling, but a quiet knowing. A sense that you were meant to be a stabilizer, a protector, a bridge of peace for others. You are the one in your family who feels things first. The one who senses when something is off before anyone else notices. The one who prays silently while everyone else sleeps. And that is not by accident. The Lord says, I trusted you with sensitivity because I trusted you with responsibility. That's why emotional weight finds you. That's why people lean on you. That's why you felt tired in ways rest alone couldn't fix. You've been carrying more than your share, spiritually and emotionally. But today, there is a transfer happening. This Thursday morning marks the beginning of release. Not all at once, but intentionally. God is lifting what was never meant for you to hold forever. There are burdens you inherited emotionally. Patterns passed down through family lines, fear of loss, fear of instability, fear of abandonment. You didn't create them, but you've been the one strong enough to confront them. And now, they are breaking. You may not see it immediately, but the atmosphere around you is changing. What once felt heavy now feels quieter. What once triggered anxiety now feels distant. That's deliverance working gently. This protection over your family isn't reactive, it's preventative. God is not just stopping danger, He's redirecting outcomes. There were moments you almost went down a different path. Almost said yes. Almost stayed where you should have left. Almost trusted what looked good but wasn't safe. And somehow, something always intervened. That was divine guidance. The Lord says, I have been guiding you even when you thought you were guessing. That's why regret hasn't destroyed you. That's why mistakes didn't define you. Grace kept intercepting the fall. This morning, you are being reminded that your story is still under construction. And there is something else, something personal, tied to timing. If you've been feeling restless, like you're waiting for a sign to move forward, to speak up, to make a decision, that's because clarity is approaching, not escaping. But it requires stillness. The universe is asking you to slow your thoughts so you can hear what's already being said. Right now, there is a message being delivered to your spirit that words haven't fully formed yet. You'll feel it before you understand it. A knowing without explanation. A calm that replaces urgency. That's how divine confirmation arrives. Someone close to you is also changing, quietly. You may notice it in their tone, their reactions, their energy. They are shedding something old. And this is especially true in matters of love and connection. The soulmate theme around you hasn't faded, it's intensified. But not in the way you expected. Instead of passion alone, there is depth forming. Instead of chasing, there is grounding. Instead of uncertainty, there is alignment. This connection is being prepared to meet you at a healthier level. That's why impatience was removed. That's why illusions were broken. The Lord says, I am not giving you what you asked for. I am giving you what will last. This applies to relationships, family bonds, and even self-worth. You are learning to receive without begging, to trust without proving, to rest without guilt. And that is a major shift. This Thursday is a threshold day. A crossing from surviving into stabilizing. You don't need to announce it. You don't need to explain it. The change will speak for itself. You'll notice it when things that once drained you no longer have access. When your reactions soften. When peace becomes familiar instead of rare. This is what spiritual maturity feels like. And the Lord is proud of you. Yes, proud. Not because you were perfect, but because you were faithful while imperfect. Right now, heaven is responding to consistency. To the way you kept going even when motivation was gone. To the way you prayed even when you were unsure anyone was listening. God heard everything. There is also a financial and practical layer to this protection. Provision you worried about will not run dry. Resources will stretch further than expected. You may not receive everything at once, but you will receive enough, exactly when you need it. That's not luck. That's alignment. If you've felt nudged to reorganize, simplify, or let go of unnecessary weight, listen to that instinct. It's making room. Because something new cannot land where clutter remains. The Lord says, prepare your inner space. I'm about to fill it. And here's where the message becomes more specific. This week carries a conversation. Not dramatic, but decisive. Not loud, but honest. It may not happen the way you imagine, but it will bring clarity. Do not fear it. Truth spoken in peace always heals more than silence ever could. Your family will feel the shift before they understand it. Your home will feel lighter. Your prayers will feel less strained. And you will start sleeping deeper. That's how you'll know protection is active. Right now, let these words rest over you. Lord, thank you for covering what I couldn't control. Thank you for guiding what I couldn't see. Thank you for loving my family more perfectly than I ever could. Breathe slowly. Something is settling again. But there is still more being revealed. A deeper reason why this message is unfolding in layers. Why each part is arriving exactly when it is. And what you are being prepared to recognize next. Because what you are being prepared to recognize next is not external. It's internal. There is a quiet shift happening inside you, one that doesn't announce itself, one that doesn't rush, but once it settles, nothing stays the same. You are beginning to see yourself differently. Not through fear. Not through past mistakes. But through clarity. The Lord is saying, you are stepping into discernment, not doubt. That's why certain things no longer excite you the way they used to. That's why noise feels exhausting. That's why you crave stillness more than validation. You're not losing passion, you're gaining focus. This Thursday morning carries an invitation to trust your inner knowing. To stop second-guessing the quiet voice that has been guiding you all along. You have been asking for signs, and they have been appearing, but the real sign is your peace. Peace that doesn't need permission. Peace that shows up even when circumstances haven't changed yet. That kind of peace only comes when alignment is already in motion. There is also something happening with time around you. Moments feel slower, deeper, more intentional. That's because the universe is creating space for awareness. You are being called to notice what you once rushed past. The way your family connects in small moments. The way laughter returns unexpectedly. The way silence no longer feels empty. These are signs of restoration. God is not just protecting your family from harm. He is restoring what stress tried to steal. There were seasons where joy felt postponed. Where peace felt conditional. Where rest felt undeserved. Those seasons are closing. The Lord says, I am returning joy to ordinary days. And this is especially important for you to hear. You are not behind. Not spiritually. Not emotionally. Not in life. You are exactly where your healing caught up to your calling. That's why things are finally making sense. There is a part of you that has been waiting for permission to exhale. Permission to stop striving. Permission to trust that things will hold even if you loosen your grip. This is that permission. Right now, God is recentering your heart. If you've felt drawn to prayer but didn't know what to say, if words felt insufficient, if silence felt more honest than speech, that was still prayer. And it was heard. There is a frequency around you this Thursday that invites truth, gentle truth. Truth without accusation. Truth without fear. This is the kind of truth that heals relationships rather than fractures them. If there has been emotional distance between you and someone you love, understand this. The space was not abandonment, it was reflection. Both sides were being taught something. And now, understanding is closer than you think. This applies deeply to soulmate connections. The bond you carry in your spirit is not fading, it's clarifying. What once felt intense but unstable is becoming grounded and safe. What once felt uncertain is finding its footing. The universe does not rush sacred connections. It prepares them. You are being prepared to receive love without losing yourself. To connect without self-betrayal. To give without depletion. This is new territory for you, and that's why it feels unfamiliar. But unfamiliar does not mean unsafe. God is not testing you, He is trusting you. Trusting you to choose peace over chaos. Truth over fantasy. Depth over intensity. This Thursday carries emotional maturity as its gift. You may notice old triggers losing their power. Old patterns no longer pulling you in. Old fears trying, and failing, to regain control. That is growth revealing itself quietly. The Lord says, you are not who you were, and you are not yet who you are becoming. and that in-between space is sacred. Do not rush through it. There is wisdom forming here, compassion expanding, strength deepening. Your family will feel this through you. Your calm will become their safety. Your clarity will become their direction. Your faith will become their anchor. This is why protection begins with you. Not because you are perfect, but because you are willing to pause, willing to listen, willing to trust. Right now, let this settle into your breath. Lord, align my heart with your timing. Let me recognize peace when it arrives. Teach me to trust what feels calm, even when it feels new. Stay here for a moment. There is a gentle unveiling still in motion. A realization about your role, your timing, and the reason you were guided to hear this message piece by piece. Because the realization unfolding now is about why you had to become who you are before what's coming could arrive. There are blessings that require capacity. And you have been expanding, quietly, painfully at times, to hold what is next without breaking. The Lord is saying, I delayed nothing. I prepared you. That's why life refined you instead of rescuing you. Why answers came slowly instead of all at once. Why strength grew where ease once lived. You were being shaped for stability, not just relief. This Thursday carries a confirmation that you are no longer in the season of endurance. You are entering the season of embodiment, where what you've learned finally becomes how you live. Peace is no longer something you chase. It's something you carry. And because you carry it, others feel it when they're near you. You may notice people opening up to you unexpectedly, sharing things they don't usually share, trusting you without knowing why. That's not coincidence. That's your presence becoming safe. God is using you as a calming ground in chaotic spaces. This is especially important for your family. You are becoming the emotional anchor, not through control, but through calm. Not through force, but through steadiness. And this steadiness is creating protection far beyond what you can see. There were storms that could have shaken your household, but they passed differently because you stood differently. This is spiritual authority taking shape. You didn't ask for it. You grew into it. And now, heaven is responding to who you've become. If you've felt called to slow down lately, to simplify routines, to protect your energy, that's not withdrawal. That's wisdom. The universe is teaching you that everything doesn't deserve access. Not every demand requires a response. Not every emotion requires reaction. Not every voice deserves influence. Discernment is becoming your default. This Thursday morning is also recalibrating your relationship with time. You are learning that urgency is not always truth. That stillness can be productive. That waiting does not mean wasting. Some of the most important work happens invisibly. Right now, something is being aligned that you cannot yet touch. But you will feel the effects. A door is being prepared. A conversation is softening. A heart, yours or someone else's, is becoming receptive. This is especially significant in love. The soulmate energy around you is not fading into the background. It's moving from imagination into reality. But reality requires readiness. You are being prepared to receive love that feels safe, consistent, and mutual. Not chaotic, not uncertain, not draining. That's why past connections fell away. That's why old patterns had to be unlearned. The Lord says, I will not repeat what broke you. What's coming will feel different, calmer, clearer, grounded. It may not arrive loudly. It may arrive gently. Through honesty. Through alignment. Through mutual effort. And you will recognize it not by intensity, but by peace. Your heart will not race with fear. It will settle with certainty. This is a new standard for you, and it applies to every area of your life. This Thursday is not about dramatic change. It's about deep adjustment. Small shifts with lasting impact. You may feel drawn to let go of something familiar. A habit, a mindset, a role you've outgrown. That release is necessary, because what is coming cannot coexist with what no longer fits. The Lord is saying, trust what feels light. You have carried heaviness long enough. Now your spirit is learning to choose ease without guilt. That's healing. That's maturity. That's readiness. Your family will benefit from this more than you realize. As you become regulated, they become secure. As you become calm, they become grounded. This is how generational healing works, quietly, consistently. Right now, pause with this prayer. Lord, help me release what I've outgrown. Help me recognize what is aligned. Teach me to trust peace as your guidance. Let it sink in, because there is still another layer unfolding. Something about timing, recognition, and a moment that will soon make everything you've heard feel unmistakably real. Before you move forward with your day, pause here one last time. This final moment is not about adding more, it's about sealing what has already been spoken. The Lord says, what I began in you, I will complete. You do not need to chase confirmation anymore. You do not need to replay the past or fear the future. What is meant for you, for your family, for your heart, for your destiny, is already being held in place by divine hands. This protection does not expire when the prayer ends. It walks with you. It rests over your home. It surrounds the people you love, even when you cannot be near them. Today, choose peace intentionally. Not because everything is perfect, but because you trust the one who is guiding you. Let this be your closing prayer. Lord, I release control and receive your covering. I trust your timing. I trust your plan. I trust your peace. As you go, expect gentleness. Expect clarity. Expect small confirmations that remind you this message was real. You are not alone. You are not late. You are not forgotten. This chapter closes with peace. And what opens next will meet you there.